Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. In this post, I want to talk about the death of Beau Biden, the son of Joe Biden, the 44th Attorney General of Delaware. In researching his death, I have found some synchronicities between him and his father, of course, as well as the 44th President, Barack Hussein Obama. And I want to talk about all these discoveries, but let's just begin by watching the news coverage about this. I'll show you what's curious from this reporting.
I'm Beau Biden, and Joe Biden is my dad.
Beau Biden was the eldest son of Vice President Joe Biden, but also a public servant in his own right, a federal prosecutor in the late 1990s, and Delaware's Attorney General for 8 years, leaving office just this past January. His childhood was marred by a tragic car accident.
My mom took us to go buy a Christmas tree. On the way home, we were in an automobile accident. My mom, Nelia, and my sister, Naomi, were killed. My brother, Hunter, and I were seriously injured and hospitalized for weeks. I was just short of 4 years old. One of my earliest memories was being in that hospital. My dad always at our side.
Beau Biden and his father would remain close, even as the elder Biden became vice president.
I went out Saturday night with my wife to a family, parent-teacher kind of thing on Saturday night, and my mom and dad babysat. They babysat the weekend before. They babysat the weekend before.
As Delaware's AG, Beau Biden put a special focus on prosecuting crimes against children and took his talent for the law into the military, serving for a year in Iraq as part of the Judge Advocate General Corps.
Today, I come as you prepare to deploy as a father. A father who got some sage advice from his son this morning. Dad, keep it short. We're in formation.
Biden had announced his intention to run for governor in Delaware in 2016, but has had recurring health troubles, suffering a mild stroke in 2010 and admitted in 2013 to a Houston cancer hospital for a brain lesion.
So I just want to pause right here, Truth Seeker. This is true of so many cancer hospitals in this nation. The way they're named is all part of the sick joke. Again, he was the 44th Attorney General of Delaware. The kill number is 44. The word kill equals 44. Martin Luther King Jr. was once assassinated April 4th. The first president to ever die in office, the ninth president, William Henry Harrison, died April 4th. Obama's the 44th president. The word cancer has a simple English gematria of 44. And the way I first learned that was by watching the movie A Haunting in Connecticut. At that time, I knew that kill sum to 44. I was aware of some of these 44 connections. In that film, the main character has cancer, and in the beginning of the movie, he goes into the radiation machine to get his chemotherapy treatment, and on the side of the machine is a giant 44. Later in the movie, you see this house where all these tragedies have happened, and the address there is just simply 44. After that film, I put two and two together and realized cancer summed to 44 as well. And as it turns out, many illnesses have names that sum to 44, showing you that all this time throughout our history, the people who've been naming the things that kill us have been naming them by the numbers. And for all of my life, ever since I was a little child, I've speculated that the cure for cancer probably likely exists. It's just that they want us to keep dying and paying for the medicines to not die from this. Just seems like a very easy system to see through. Thought that since I was a little boy. All right, let's close this out.
Vice President Joe
Oh,
Biden.
whoops. Whoops, Truth Seeker, I didn't even get to the point. So MD Anderson. Here we're going to do Pythagorean gematria. It was MD Anderson. M is the 13th letter. 1 plus 3 becomes 4. D is the 4th. A is the 1st. N is the 14th. 1 plus 4 becomes 5. D is the 4th. E is the 5th. R is the 18th. 1 plus 8 becomes 9. S is the 19th. 1 plus 9 becomes 10. 1 plus 0 becomes 1. O is the 15th. 1 plus 5 is 6. N is the 14th. That equals 5. MD Anderson, add it all up, sums to 44. This is a cancer hospital. And again, there's so much of this naming for cancer hospitals throughout our nation. Documented a lot of this on my blog already. All right, here we go.
Son Beau Biden was evaluated at a hospital. This is after what is being called an episode of disorientation and weakness.
Biden, 46, leaves a wife and 2 children.
Or does he? You know? What I don't know from doing this research is if these people are really dying, if they're really being sacrificed, or if they're faking their deaths and then maybe moving on to work for some other agenda while escaping the public spotlight. You know, as they said, he just finished up his term as Attorney General 5 months ago, January. Not even 5 months ago. All right, so back to the headlines. Tragedy haunts Biden. We heard the story about how his wife and siblings died, or excuse me, Joe Biden's wife, his mother, and siblings died on Christmas of all days when he was 4 years old. And when you research these political families, there's so many deaths in curious ways, but especially by car accident. And whenever you read the details of these car accidents, they're very suspicious. Suspicious dates, suspicious circumstances. Think about last weekend's reporting of the death of John Nash, where him and his wife were killed while riding in a taxi, where the taxi driver was perfectly fine. The report said that John Nash and his wife flew from the vehicle, but the taxi driver was fine. I mean, imagine that kind of wreck, to have the force to throw bodies from a car, but the driver's fine. And earlier this year, we had the same type of thing with Bob Simon. And there's probably been a bunch of others that I've documented on my blog that I've already forgotten about because there's just so much of this crap. Yes, I realize people die in car accidents, but these ones, they're all awfully suspect. So, in addition to being the 44th Attorney General, Beau Biden also has some numbers on him from birth that are very much found in death and sacrifice. I also want to point out that the age he died at, 46, has been coded into almost all of the police officer deaths that are reported in the media, when the tragedy's making the police officer the victim. So, notice that Joe Biden, his father, in simple English gematria sums to 64. The name Barack Hussein Obama in Pythagorean gematria sums to 64. Israel 64, Zion 64, Thelema 64. This is a number of great significance. His son died at 46, the reverse of 64, numbers we often find paired together. Remember the Hattiesburg shooting hoax with the police officer that I decoded and that got trolled more than any other post to date? The father who spoke about the death of his son, supposedly, the police officer, his name was Ronald Tate. Ronald equals 64, Tate equals 46. Showing you how they like to put these numbers together when they tell us these tales. Again, they said he died from brain cancer. Brain and cancer in Pythagorean gematria are both 26 words. In simple English gematria, they're both 44 words. And often celebrities are reported to have died from brain cancer rapidly. Earlier this year, there was the MTV employee, the 33-year-old, who supposedly died from brain cancer rapidly. Brain cancer, thus, has a simple English gematria of 88, 44 plus 44. As for those numbers having to do with sacrifice on Beau Biden, he was born February 3rd, 69. This date has a numerology of 74, a number that I often refer to as the number of the martyr. Jesus equals 74, cross equals 74, Muhammad equals 74. The word Masonic also Masonic equals 74 as well. Take this date a step further, it also has a numerology of 93 plus 19 more to 79. 2-3-1969 yields a date numerology of 93, the number of Thelema. We so often find this number coded where tragedies occur. 93 World Trade Center bombing, Flight 93 of 33 passengers. Whole lot more. And again, he was Attorney General in Delaware. That's the first state of establishment. Only 3 of the 50 states have a 33 name. The first and last, Delaware and Hawaii. And the 6th, Massachusetts. And when I think of Massachusetts, I think of the Kennedy family. Kennedy has a gematria of 33. Think about all the suspicious deaths in their family. One of the first videos I did on this blog was about how every single Kennedy has died on a date connected to the number 33. Impossible coincidence. Delaware was established December 7th, 1787, a date with 33 numerology. Name and date. Of the first 13 colonies, only 3 were established on 33 dates. First and last, Delaware and Rhode Island, and 9th, New Hampshire. There he is, 44th Attorney General. Served for 8 years. His father's the 47th vice president behind Barack Hussein Obama, the 44th president. Now check this out. This headline says, quite simply, the finest man. You know, don't you hate that in society, how we always just talk up people when they die and just make statements such as this? Apparently, this was the finest man to ever live, Truth Seeker. Anyway, quite simply, the finest man sums to 111. 111. And do you know where he went for treatment, Truth Seeker? He was being treated at Walter Reed. He went there May 20th. He was in treatment for 10 days before he died, supposedly. Walter Reed's the military hospital, and Walter Reed has a gematria of 111. Quite simply, the finest man died at Walter Reed, old 111. Another number we find coded oh so much. This article was by somebody named Victor, a 33 name. Ortiz is a 34 name, so put it together, 67. A lot of 67 lately. With regards to Walter Reed, Truth Seeker, I just want to point out that in history, Walter Reed himself died on 11/22, a date with 33 connections. JFK died on this date 61 years later. Walter Reed, the hospital is named after him because he discovered the connection between mosquitoes and yellow fever. Of course, the yellow fever epidemic happened in the year 1793. See, Truth Seeker, things haven't changed. We are living in the same system, the same hoaxes, the same numbers. Everything is ran today the same way as it was at the beginning of this nation and long before that. The only difference is now we have flat screen TVs, Cheetos, and automobiles. You know, more things to tune us out with. Mosquitoes, a word with 39 gematria. Epidemic in 93. Just another note on Walter Reed. The HIV program they once participated in was based in Thailand, and they called it RV 144, or the Thai trial. Again, Thailand is another one of these 33 nations, even established on a date with 33 numerology, just like Delaware. And I'm just bringing this up just to show you this stuff comes out of Walter Reed Hospital, the same place where he supposedly went for treatment and died. And let's not forget the connection between 44 and 144. If you write out 44 and sum it with simple English gematria, it sums to 144. If you write out the date April 4th, the date MLK died on, and the first president to die in office, it also sums to 144 in simple English gematria. Lots of synchronicities between our calendar, the language, and these numbers. From November 3rd of last year, the day before Election Day, I thought this was weird, this headline, Dems put on a brave face. You know, who's the front of the Democratic Party right now, Truth Seeker? Barack Hussein Obama, right? But they put Joe Biden's face up here. Right now we're in the time of the 114th Congress, decided 11-4. This headline, though, Dems put on a brave face, has this gematria of 74. The number of sacrifice, the number of the martyr. It seems that this is all part of the foreshadowing. Remember, that headline had a gematria of 74. Joe Biden is the 47th vice president. The word president itself sums to 47, just like Caesar. Vice President. Think about the last one, Dick Cheney. Think about when Ronald Reagan, the 33rd governor of California, was the president, and the vice president was the former head of CIA. Who do you think had more clout in that administration? Someone who worked in the CIA and was the head of it, or an actor? Sometimes I wonder, Truth Seeker, if all throughout history the vice president has secretly been the more important man, and the president's more of the puppet cheerleader, phony baloney, hoorah type of guy. Joe Biden has those characteristics too. Born in the year 42, he's often caught cussing, saying things like the word bitch. Word bitch has a gematria of 42, like the year he's born in. So that's pretty much the extent of the message, Truth Seeker. I think this Beau Biden death, whether it's real or not, is more foreshadowing of what's to come for this presidential administration. Look at the headline: Tragedy Haunts Biden. Imagine Obama's assassinated. We'll probably see some more tragedy haunts Biden headlines, but then he would be the president. Recall, when Obama first took office, February 11th, the 42nd day of the year, 2009, he reopened Ford's Theater since the first time it had been closed. And it was only reopened one time before that, in 1968, the year MLK was assassinated. It stayed open until 77, then shut down. It didn't reopen until 32 years later, when Obama was there for the ceremony with that Abraham Lincoln actor. Hopefully it's all making a little more sense, Truth Seeker. A lot of 44 on this incident, and I think it's all pointing to what's coming for the 44th president. All right, until next time.